typing. Yes. Thank you so much. Well, we are so excited. And you have a fifth grader at, where do your kids go?
To Whittier.
To Whittier. Awesome.
Yep.
So
Third and first grader.
okay, wonderful. Well, we thought we'd just have you maybe do like a short overview of your job and the work that you do, and then they are brimming with questions. And we'd love to see the plant too, if you're able to.
Yeah, I'll have to probably end the Zoom, and then I'll have to log in on my phone to go out to the plant.
Okay, awesome.
So,
or yeah, you can even send us a video too, if that's easier, like later on.
That might actually be the easiest if you're okay with that. We're going through some construction progress out there right now, so it's kind of a mess and noisy.
Yeah, that's just fine. Well, that sounds great.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, tell us a little bit about the work that you do, and then they have lots of questions for you.
Okay, so yeah, we draw our water out of the Jordan Aquifer. We have 4 deep wells. They average about 2,500 feet in the ground. Our pumps are about 500 feet down in the ground, roughly. We have three of our wells are bigger, and then we have a smaller well. We, on average, probably pump about 1.5 million a day. Once we get into the summertime with irrigation and pools and all that stuff, we'll push up to that 2 million gallons a day.
Oh my goodness, that was one of their questions. That is a lot of water.
Yes, it is. When they built the plant, though, they did build it for future expansion. So our max capacity we can pump out of the plant's 3.2 million a day. So we still got a ways to go, but again, yeah. So we, on average, about 1.5 million a day.
That's really
so yeah, so the water we pump it to the plant. Like I said, we have 4 wells that are scattered throughout the town. We have 2 water towers. I'm sure you've seen them. There was one out there by Simpson College, and then there's one out off of the Hillcrest. Our Hillcrest tower is 1 million gallon tank, and our Simpson tower is a 750,000 gallon tank. And then we also have a underground storage tank here at the water plant that's 750,000 gallon tank as well. And that's where our water is pumped out of, that goes uptown.
So when it's in the tank, is that water already filtered? Like that's like the final step?
Yes, yep.
Okay. And the aquifers that you're talking about, the wells, were those there naturally? And then you guys, like, over time they dug down, or were those like put water in them? How does that work?
So they were drilled down into the Jordan Aquifer. The Jordan Aquifer, it's a huge aquifer, and it expands through the state of Iowa, goes up into Minnesota. The farther south you get, the aquifer gets deeper. So there's parts up in like northern Iowa that their wells may only be 40 feet deep, where ours are 2,500 feet deep.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Well, we'll let these guys, I got a ton of questions, but I know these guys do too. They are ready to ask you some questions. Okay, Olivia, do you want to start?
Okay. How many people do you work with a day? Or do you work with?
So we have 5 certified operators. We have to be certified. So our plant is a grade 4 plant. So myself, I'm a grade 4. We also have another operator that's a grade 4, but we all have to be certified through the state. That's a DNR requirement. Out of the 5 operators, we do all the treatment here. There's somebody's on call 24/7, and then there's an operator here on the weekends too that works 8 hours a day, and that's just to get the plant going to produce water. And then we also we maintain the distribution system, which is the water mains uptown that give you the water. So we do that, and then we maintain all the fire hydrants. We have about a little over 900 fire hydrants that we have to maintain as well.
Okay. Let's see here. Mason.
What's like the deepest part of the aquifer?
What's the deepest part of the aquifer, the Jordan, when he's wondering if you know how deep it gets?
I don't have exact. I'm gonna guess it's right around probably that 3,000 feet.
Down there. Awesome. And that's all fresh water, right, down there. So you guys don't do, they were wondering about earlier salt water. You guys don't do any salt water desalination, do ya? No, we don't have any
No,
salt.
nope, nope, it's just it's natural water. It does have iron and manganese in it. But we through our treatment process, we eliminate that.
Okay. Scarlett.
How dirty is the water before you filter it?
Dirty is the water.
Believe it or not, it's not super dirty. It does have a kind of a red tint to it, and that's just from the iron. Definitely not something that you'd probably want to drink, but you could drink it if need be.
If you were dying of thirst, you would drink it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good, right? That yeah, it's already starting pretty fresh. Aubrey.
So when you take out the water from like a river or something like that, like what's inside of it, and then how do you guys make like water? Like, do you guys put it in some like anything in there?
Yeah. What are you asking? Like, what kind of chemicals do they add to the water they bring up from underground? Okay.
Yeah, so our plant, I should have said this earlier, but our plant's a lime softening plant. So we bring the water in from the well. It goes up into an aeration tank, in which it's got a media up there, and that's what the iron and the manganese will attach to. And then it comes down, and we have two big clarifiers, and that's where we add our lime and polymer to, and it mixes in those tanks, and then it goes through over the weirs, and it goes into our CO2 tank, and we add CO2 because lime raises our pH up. So coming out of our clarifiers, our pH is anywhere from 9.5 to 10. So we add CO2 to lower our pH down to, we try to maintain around 8.5, 8.6 pH, and then it goes into our filters, where it filters everything out, and we add chlorine there for disinfection.
Well, lots of chemistry talk there, huh? Filtration, CO2. He's talking about the different elements. So that's right up what we've been studying, huh? Everett.
Is there ever such thing as fully clean water?
Ooh, is there ever such a thing as like fully pure H2O, do you think? Like that we would.
There's some processes that do. A lot of communities are going to reverse osmosis, which it strips everything out of the water, and they actually have to add some minerals back to it just for basically for taste.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Yeah. So and they add like, isn't that some places they add fluoride like for kids' teeth or something?
Yep, absolutely, they do. Some plants do. We have fluoride in our water, but our fluoride it's naturally, so we do not add any fluoride. But that's one of our daily tests that we have to do is fluoride, and then I have to report that every month to the DNR because we have maximum contaminant levels that we have to maintain. So if we get over those, and then the DNR will come down and we'll start having to do more treatment. But knock on wood, right now we are still under that level, so no issue.
Yeah. So Everett, sounds like it could do pure H2, but they don't want to because they've got to make sure it's like tastes good and has the right chemicals and stuff in it. Okay, LMA.
Have you ever like all of the water that you've collected? Have you ever made like a big accident and like dropped a chemical in there and had to start over?
Ooh, any accidents happen? Like you dropped like too much chemicals or something in there.
No, not that I can recall. All of our chemicals. So if need be, we can run all of our chemical pumps on hand. We're pretty fortunate though that our system setups, everything's automated. So the more water we come in, it'll add more chemicals. But then on our system, we have alarms. So for some reason, if a pump malfunctions, it quits, or if it for some reason would speed up, we have alarms on our system that would tell us, if our chlorine levels are too low or too high, or if our polymer pump would quit, or again, if our lime machine would quit. We have alarms for those. So
we're safe. We don't need to worry about too much human error. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, it sounds like, yeah, even if that happens, they have something that would tell them that happened. So that's great. Okay, let's see here. Lennox and
How much water do we tend to use like a day in Indianola?
like an average Indianola resident, how much water are they using?
I would say like I'm gonna go off just a residential house. So like at your house, and I would say probably we average a household about 4,000 gallons a month would be on average.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite a bit, huh? More than you think about that we're using right there. Yes. Yeah. What?
Do you guys ever make like mistakes or like fail?
Yeah, so we lots of times ask our scientists and engineers, like, have you ever had a big failure that you learned something from, like in your job? They always want to know, because we talk about failure is a big part of the science process. Like, is there anything that like did not go right that you're like learned a lot from?
I would not really. I mean, our biggest failure, again, our plant's pretty self-sufficient. There's really no, I mean, there is error that could happen, but again, it alerts us pretty quick, so we can know that. I guess I would say our biggest failures are when we have water main breaks and stuff like that. Because again, we fix all those in the system.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and water is like so important to our safety and health, right? That he probably doesn't have a lot of room for error. That's why they have all those setups and things like that, that they alarms and things. Brianne.
What did you have to take any math classes to do your job?
Yeah, like what kind of training did you have to do to do your job?
So they offer different classes that we can attend. DMAC has a really good class. When I got into the industry, I did not have any training. But there's a bunch of online classes and again in-person classes. And for you to get like your certification, so there's four grades, like I said, and you have to have so many CEUs before the DNR will allow you to test for your different grade levels. So there's a bunch of online classes that you can do, and like I said, DMAC has some, Kirkwood. So yeah, different classes, and there's math. It's called operator or math for operators that they make you do as well, and that's just to figure out chemical doses and stuff like that.
You're probably reading a lot of charts every day too.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Taryn,
How many years of college?
did you have to go to college to do this work?
No, I did not. That's one good thing about I guess my job, and it kind of goes down to even on the sewer side of it. You don't need college. College will help you advance faster, but college is definitely not needed. It's a lot of hands-on learning, and then, like I said, just taking some of those classes to get your CU so you can get certified.
So that's pretty cool because he, obviously like was passionate about this, and probably a lot of those soft skills we talk about, like showing up on time, things like that, that allowed you, they knew he was reliable, right? And he cared about what he was doing, so he was able to advance, because you're the head of the water department, right? You're top. Yeah.
Yep, correct. I'm the superintendent here. Yes.
So, okay, back there, Barrett.
Like you know how deep it is, but how wide was aquifer be?
Well, you know what? How about I show you the aquifer on a map, because you're gonna be impressed. After this, we'll look it up on the online, and you're gonna be shocked at how far this thing goes underneath the ground. They're wondering how wide it was, but I'll just show them the map after. Yeah, right here, my dear.
So what is the amount of water it takes for the whole of America for one day, a week, a month, and a year?
Oh, okay. Well, do you have any statistics on America? We might have to look that one up too.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have an answer for that one.
Do you ever think we've looked at places where they like have to limit the water use, like even in our own country? Do you ever have any concerns about Iowa in that sense, like where we could ever have to have water restrictions, or are we pretty safe from that kind of threat?
I'm not going to really speak for Iowa because I mean, there's different variables. Some of the communities they'll pull out of the rivers and stuff like that, or reservoirs. So obviously, with with no rain or stuff like that, some of those will start to get pretty low. Where they'll put they'll start telling people, to conserve water. Now for Indianola, we're great. We have plenty of water. Absolutely no concerns of running out. Like I said, that Jordan Aquifer has a ton of water in it, and no concerns for Indianola.
So that's always something we can add to our gratitude list, right? That we live in a place where fresh water is plentiful for us. So that's awesome. Ember.
What's the most dangerous thing that's happened?
Like dangerous parts. Do you have any like dangerous parts of your job or dangerous things that have happened?
Not necessarily dangerous things that have happened. I would say probably our most dangerous part of the job in the plant is our chlorine. Our chlorine is very strong that we add to the water, and that's again just to kill any bacteria. And then it also leaves a chlorine residual in the water when it gets to the consumer's tap, and that will helps fight off anything that might be in the water mains. We have a very clean system, so we can maintain a good chlorine residual. The other dangerous part of our job, I guess, is when we have to go out and fix water mains for that break, because we know we're down 5-6 feet in the ground, and there's a lot of utilities and all that other stuff that goes into that. So that'd probably be the two most dangerous parts of our job.
Okay. Let's hear Mallory.
What if the pipes just stop getting water?
Okay, so is there any like she said, what if the pipes ever stop getting water? So I think she's thinking like if you have like a bunch of clogs or something. Has that ever happened where you have like a bunch happening at once? I don't even remember a time where Indiano's lost water. Is that
Yeah, like in the 14 years I've been with the city, we've never lost water. I mean, obviously there's portions of town that if we have a water main break that certain blocks may not have water for a couple hours, and that's just because we have to shut those sections down to fix the water main. Other than that,
yeah.
Everybody's always had water.
Yep, that's awesome. Okay, Evelyn.
Do you send any of the water to Milo?
Okay, she's wondering about Milo's water. She lives in Milo. Is it the same situation, or do they have their own water process?
Nope. So the water that we produce stays just in Indianola. If I think Milo is fed off of Warren water, which their water comes from Des Moines.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, how about we take 3 more and then we'll finish up with one final question. Who has not asked a question yet that wants to? Myra.
Say like Indianola lost water, what would we do? Like, where would we get extra water?
So like, is there an emergency plan in place? Like if we were to lose water, like what would happen from there? Like how would we get water? She's wondering. Like if there was some freak accident or something.
The only way that we wouldn't get water is if we had a catastrophe where it took out the water plant. And then we do have some connections with Warren Water where we could connect with them to provide the town. It wouldn't be enough to. We'd have to conserve water if we did that, just because Warren Water can only supply us so much, and they can't supply what our daily demand would be. So there would be some conservation policies to go with that.
So there's some other places it sounds like that we can bring it out. Okay, anyone else who has not asked a question yet? Yes, my dear.
Do you ever find like animals stuck in the water?
Ooh, ever any animals get brought up from the any problems with animals?
Nope, no animals in the water.
No, not yet, right? Might be some sneaky raccoons. Oliver, have you asked a question yet?
It would be my second one.
Okay, ask. Okay, we'll go to you next, and then we'll be. Okay, yes, Oliver.
How much water does all of Indianola use per day?
I think he said that, right? Wasn't it?
So you said over 3,000. 4,000 gallons a month per one.
Was it 2 million? Okay, Indianola. How much does Indianola use a day? How many gallons?
On average, we do about 1.5 million, and then in the summertime, again when everybody's irrigating in pools and stuff, we'll get closer to that 2 million.
Okay. Okay.
Is it illegal to swim in the aquifer?
Oh, anyone ever swimming down there in the aquifer?
No, nobody's swimming in the aquifer.
Every time I see the picture of you guys in front of the like treatment plant, I'm always wondering, do they ever go for a little swim?
No, I think that the DNR would frown pretty heavily.
You would have made it to the top, right? If you were
Yep.
doing that. Okay. Okay, sir, have you asked one yet, babe? Okay, Sawyer, and then I got one final question for him.
Okay.
Think anything of it? Okay. Oh, yeah, back there. Lyman.
How much water do you get in a day?
That's what they already said.
How much do you mean do they pump from the, so how much like water, so your treatment plant, it can process, like, how long does it take to go from the aquifer to up into the towers? Like, how long is that process? And like, how many gallons can happen a day?
So our raw water, it basically will mirror our finished water. We'll pump just a little bit more raw water. That's just because on our concentrators or our clarifiers, we have to blow water off of those every day. And that just gets the lime sludges on the bottom out of those. So our raw and finished water basically mirror each other around that 1.5 million a day. That's a great question on how long it takes to get to the tower. I have no clue. It's probably takes longer than one would think just because we have so many miles of water main in town.
Has to go through a long process. Okay. Well, final questions. What advice would you give for these guys if they're interested in water treatment, hydrology, or like future technology? What advice would you give them about water and why it's a good career field to go into?
I personally like it because it can be a hands-on job. Again, before I became the boss, like I said, we treat all the water, we fix all the fire hydrants, we fix the water main breaks and stuff like that. So I like it because I like being hands-on. Before I got into the industry, I personally didn't know how much science background there was to it. So it's kind of, once you get into the field and you start learning, it's pretty unique how water is made, I guess, and that it's safe for consumers to drink.
Well, that's why I just want to hear you talk about all this. I'm just filled with gratitude because we know 50% of the world's population does not have access to fresh water every day. And think of us even here in Iowa, in the United States, like some people still have that problem. So we are so lucky, like people like Mr. Brand are watching our water and making sure, we can't ever remember a time where we turned on the faucet and it didn't come out. So that is something to be very thankful for. What do we tell Mr. Brand for all his great work?
Thank you.
Yeah, and tell your team thank you as well. And we really appreciate it. So yeah, we love this. This was awesome. I think it was a really good perspective.
Yeah,
could we email you some more questions? It looks like we got some people dying for some questions, but maybe we could email them to you. Would that be okay?
Yes, yep, absolutely. And then I'll get a video of the water plant and I will send it to you so you can share it to the class.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Brand. We know you're very busy. We appreciate you taking the time to.
Yep.
What do we tell? Bye.